What happened?
About 12:20 this morning, police were called to assist ambulance officers at a bar on the King Street Wharf. Ambulance officers were trying to treat a 22-year-old female in relation to a cardiac arrest. As they were in the process of doing that, one of the ambulance officers was assaulted and the others were verbally abused. Police attended and provided physical security for the ambulance officers while they attempted to treat the female. She was subsequently taken to St Vincent's Hospital. I understand she underwent surgery earlier this morning and is currently in a stable but critical condition. Clearly, the actions of assaulting the ambulance officers no doubt hindered the treatment that was able to be provided to the female. And, this is pretty sort of disturbing stuff. 27-year-old male was taken into custody. He's been charged with the common assault of the ambulance officer, also an offence under the Health Services Act in obstructing or hindering an ambulance officer by violence, trying to provide assistance, possess prohibited drug, supply prohibited drug. He's been granted conditional bail and will appear at the Downing Centre Local Court on the 19th of September. Look, it is very unusual. I mean, ambulance officers are the first responders. They're out there to try and treat and give first aid to people in emergency situations, particularly in relation to this 22-year-old female who we understand was suffering from a medical emergency. And clearly, the actions of hindering, obstructing and assaulting them is pretty offensive stuff. And certainly a lot of people would be quite rightly outraged at the treatment this ambulance officer received.
Did this 27-year-old give any justification as to why he lashed out?
No, he didn't. I understand that alcohol was a factor, but certainly it's not an action where you can adequately provide a reason for your behaviour.
Was this his girlfriend? Was he distressed?
I understand they were in attendance for a family birthday party and that the 27-year-old male is related in some way to the female victim. That's right. I mean, there is no excuse for this type of behaviour. Assaulting an ambulance officer in the course of his duties is pretty low stuff and, it's certainly unacceptable behaviour.
And there's also some drugs charges as well?
That's right. The 27-year-old male was searched when he came back to Day Street Police Station. He was found in possession of prohibited drugs and he's been charged with 2 offences in relation to that.
It's appalling. Paramedics protecting others from life-threatening issues should not have their lives threatened, particularly by people under the influence of drugs or alcohol. There is roughly 1 paramedic being assaulted in New South Wales every 2 days. Our community needs to wake up that our paramedics are precious and we should be protecting them when they're trying to protect us. What part of paramedics being there for us, some people in the community don't get. But they are there for us and the community, all of us, should be there for them. Assaulting paramedics at any time is completely unacceptable. I am very pleased to hear that the police have managed to get the alleged perpetrator and that he has been charged. And I send a very clear message to the community that you assault one of our paramedics, any single paramedic, and you will be charged. Clearly it is about the education of the community. That obviously has to be done to a degree by the media and by the government. We need to work together to make sure that everybody gets the message that our paramedics are there for us and we should be there for them. It is just insane that a paramedic who is there to protect us from life-threatening illnesses is at risk of being assaulted and having their life threatened, particularly by people who apparently are under the influence of drugs or alcohol or are just plain stupid.
So the paramedic involved has now finished duty, finished earlier than they otherwise would have and retired to their home. They will be seeking aid and at the moment they're resting and recuperating from this and we'll be following up again later in the day.
What do you think about the situation last night?
Can I say, as the commissioner of this organisation, I stand here alongside every other paramedic in this state and we say this is not okay. It is time that certain sections of the community stood beside our paramedics, supported them in these difficult times. Here we have a scenario where these 2 paramedics put themselves in harm's way for a person in an immediately life-threatening condition, and the reward for that was someone felt it was okay to potentially assault them. Now, we do not think that's okay. The Minister is unhappy, I am unhappy, and every community member in New South Wales should be unhappy about what's unfolded today.